So welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be doing a review on the Philips TAX5000E-10 maybe even, but I think really it's just the TAX5000E, which is yet again another horrific name by Philips for a speaker. Just absolutely unmemorable, doesn't mean anything at all, and yeah, boring. Don't know why they've done that. But yeah, this is fairly new. I think it came out September 2025, so I'm a couple months late, but hey ho, I didn't even see them come out. But yeah, this and a couple other of the range which I've just done reviews on as well, so feel free to check those out. But yeah, this is a party speaker, kind of similar to the JBL 320 kind of size. It's yeah, a good 30 centimeters, well, 20 centimeters taller than the 120 which I've got here with me. And a couple of things off the bat that annoy me about this speaker. Firstly, the stickers are really annoying. These stickers on the front, I'll put up a video on screen, but you can't, well, if you try and take them off, they just peel, like they're paper, so they just peel off onto the grill and they just won't come off properly. So they're just, I don't know why it's got this massive 200 watt max sticker at the bottom. It looks awful, and it's like, I've already bought the speaker, you don't need to advertise it to me with stickers. It's like it was a demo unit maybe or something. I don't know, let me know if yours came with this as well if you got one, but really annoying. So whenever you take these stickers off, you're going to have to spend the next 10 minutes peeling off the rest of the paper with your nails. It'll probably never come off properly fully. You have to rub it with liquids, and my God, I don't know why they've done that. So that's just like properly insane. And then the other thing that I really dislike about this speaker, which is just really, I don't think I've ever had this problem before, is that the volume doesn't go low enough. Like it goes, oh, I'll try and play it for you later, or I suppose I can even just try it now. But like if you start playing at like basically the lowest volume it goes, which is that, and then you do one more setting down and it just turns off. And obviously it's hard to tell on camera, but even this, if I skip the song a bit, is you can't hear me talking anymore. It is quite loud. I put yeah, it's about 70 decibels, and then one more and it's just off, which is insane to me. So it's just like, when I was testing this, and I had some other people in the room, or in the next room, and they were working, so I didn't want to deafen them. And the lowest volume this could go was still just too loud to test. It's so weird. I've never had, it's just the lowest volume is like 70 decibels, which is so strange. But yeah, anyway, initial frustrations aside, it retails for £200, so you can't complain too much about that. It is fairly cheap. The design is interesting. It's made of fairly cheap materials, and you can see like exposed screws and things at the back, which doesn't give off a great vibe. The stickers on the front are horrific as well. On the top, you've got kind of standard like mic and guitar input controls. You've got bass buttons, play and pause, lights, and auracast, and then a big dial in the middle for the volume, which I have tried as well, adjusting the volume. It still just goes down to 0 after 70 decibels, which is just insane. And then, yeah, around the side, pretty basic plasticky stuff. It does have some plastic wheels at the back. It does have a handle on the top as well, but it's not extendable or anything like that. It's just a handle built in. And then on the back, you've got one port at the top for guitar and mic inputs and things. And then you've got another one for the removable battery, because it does have a like a hot swappable battery, which is quite cool. But yeah, rest of the spec list, we've got 200 watt max, as if you couldn't tell already. They've stuck a massive sticker on it for us. But only 100 watt RMS, which is interesting because the JBL Partybox 120 is 160 watt RMS, and it is considerably smaller than this. So like it comes up to like maybe about here if you put them side by side. So yeah, it's 60 watt RMS lower than that, which is strange. It's got two 8-inch woofers, which obviously you can see, and then it's got two 2-inch tweeters at the top left and right. Can't complain about that setup. That's very common for party boxes, have two massive woofers on top of each other, and then two tweeters at the top left and right. That's basically how all JBL speakers and Sony speakers are set up as well. Very, very common. And they're a decent size, so I'm not going to complain too much about that. The frequency range is interesting. It states 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, which is odd. I'm not sure I've ever really seen any party boxes go down to 20 Hz, so I'm not even sure my graph goes down that far. I might have to edit that and see if we can get an accurate reading on that, but I highly doubt it does. Battery life is 14 hours, which is about, yeah, pretty average. 4 hours to charge, but that will be at about 50% volume probably, so you'll get much less than that. You probably get 6 hours or something if you're playing at full. It's Bluetooth 6.0, which apparently gives you a 10-meter range if you're in open space. It's IPX4 splash proof, so no dust resistance, and then only kind of splash resistance effectively, or splash proof, water resistance. But yeah, that's again pretty standard for party boxes, so yeah, not astonished by that. And then we've got Auracast and TWS, so you can stereo pair it with another one of these, or you do have Auracast, so you can pair it with other Philips things or other Auracast platform speakers, which is quite cool. Yeah, but I mentioned the replaceable battery, so it is like you could just buy another one and hot swap them to effectively double or triple the battery life, depending on how many you get. It's got a little flap at the back, similar to the way the JBLs do it. It's got an AC input as well. And then, yeah, 2 mic inputs and 1 6.3mm guitar input as well. So nice to have all of that I/O. And then it weighs 12 kilos, which is, yeah, interesting, because I'm pretty sure the JBL 120 weighs 11.5 kilos or something. So it's about the same weight, but it is considerably smaller. So yeah, you can tell like it does feel quite light when you pick this speaker up, especially for the size. You expect it to be like double the weight that it actually is. So I think a lot of the space in there is probably just kind of empty space to make it look more impressive than maybe it is. But that's all kind of speculation, obviously. But yeah, it's an interesting build. The spec list is good, but I don't, there are some nitpicks on the way the speaker came packaged and the kind of day-to-day living of it. But before all of that, we'll just play a sound test. We'll use Royalty at 80% volume and we'll listen to how it actually sounds. I don't normally do it for anywhere near that long, but there were just so many light modes I was trying to get through. I think I gave the first ones too long to play through. But yeah, that's one of the best speakers, one of the best things, if not the best thing about this speaker is being Philips. The light show is just immaculate. Like the underglow on the bottom, like on the sides and on the front, and just the styles of light it can have, and the smoothness of the way that those lights interact. The one we're watching now is actually probably the most kind of laggy, but the rest of them are just so smooth, and the amount of different colors and light that it can produce in one circle, like the camera isn't quite picking it up, but there's just like, you know, it's like yellows, greens, oranges, and then in the middle there seems to be like there's blues and stuff at the bottom. It's very impressive, the amount of light and the accuracy in which it can display that. Along with the bars on the side as well, it dances to the music really nice. So the lights are like very impressive. I love those. Best thing about it, and the sound as well is actually actually very good. Like we're getting on the bass side, it seems to be tailing off at like kind of like 50-40 ish. Numbers on paper aside, it sounds really good. The bass is really thumpy, it's really accurate, there's no distortion. And then this is in its kind of bass boost mode, but even with that on, the rest of the frequency range is quite flat. Like it tails off very slowly, but that's kind of what you expect. And then yeah, it does drop off about 20 kilohertz where you'd expect as well, where they state. So the sound is really good. We were regularly seeing kind of low 100 on the decibels, so it is loud as well. You know, it's good. Like the package this speaker comes in, and then when you get it out the box, I think you immediately feel a little bit disappointed because it's very light, which immediately gives a kind of cheap, poor impression to me. Taking the stickers off is going to be a pain, and that's not great. Again, not a great first impression. And the build of the speaker itself is quite cheap. It doesn't give premium vibes or anything like that. You know that there's been money saved on that. But if you just shut up, put the speaker on, look at the lights and listen to it, it's a really, really good speaker. And for 200 quid, you know, I mean, I don't know what like the JBL alternative. I mean, if you consider the 120, it's kind of competitor, seeing as, you know, the 320 is probably just too far above it. It's like at least £100 less, if not £150 less. And I think for that saving, you know, for once, I think it is actually worth getting this over the JBL alternative. I don't say that very often, but I think the sound on this is really, really impressive. And the light show is great as well, way better than anything JBL has ever produced. So I think those two things alone make up for it. I'm not quite sure about the volume levels. I think it probably is a little bit louder as well to my ears, maybe. But it's very, very similar like sound quality to the JBL. I think maybe I'll do a comparison after this as well. Let me know if you'd like to see that. I think the only thing that would really ruin it is if you want to use this for low-level indoor listening. In that case, you almost can't because of the problems with the battery. The volume, in that it just doesn't go low enough. 70 decibels is the lowest you can get it. It will not go lower than that. I have tried. If you drag the volume slider on the iPhone, like you can see the slider going up for a bit and the speaker makes no noise, and then it just jumps into life at like kind of 10% of the volume slider on the iPhone. It just doesn't do anything below that. I'm not sure if that can be fixed with a software update or something. This one is up to date, so at the moment, so yeah, I'm not sure, because that is, for me, that's one of the worst features about it at the moment, is that if I've got it up in my room and I'm just trying to listen to stuff in a bedroom upstairs or something, then it's just kind of too loud all the time. You can't make it any quieter. But obviously, if you intend to use it at its full capacity and as a party speaker, then that's irrelevant, and you should definitely pick it up. But let me know what you think. If you got one, would you buy one? Pop it down in the comments.